Just to put this in context, this is one of the first, I want to say, one of the first speeches that I recorded, one of the first downloads that I recorded. Woke up one morning and I just remember feeling like I had a whole lot on my mind, a whole lot that I wanted to say. And I had no one to say it to, you know. At the time, my mother had been, telling me to stop preaching. And said every time I talk, it sounds like I'm preaching. And so I decided to preach to myself, unbeknownst to me that I was actually preaching to the spirit realm. So this is one of the first downloads that I received. Hopefully you would enjoy it as much as I enjoyed making it. Hopefully you will enjoy it as much as I enjoyed making it. It was an honor and a pleasure. The name of it is Learn How to Act. I'm pretty sure that's the name of it. Yes, Learn How to Act. And here we go. I'm just going to leave the camera rolling while I get myself together.
It pre-programmed me. When I was younger, my parents used to tell me, you're going to learn how to act. I don't know about everybody's parents, but my parents in particular, it's kind of old school. My father was born in 1944. I was born in 1979. I just made the end of the 70s. So, I got a little bit of that. But for the most part, I'm an 80s baby. And I know a lot of 80s babies probably used to hear that term. It's like, I don't know what's got you so upset, but you're going to learn how to act. Things like, when we are out in public, and when we are at the house, it's a little bit different. But when we out here in public, you're going to learn how to act. As a matter of fact, both places, I'm pretty sure they used to make that statement. At the time, when I was a child, I did not realize that this was a recurring affirmation. It was a command that my parents were giving me. The subconscious, the brain, that's the way it works. If you hear something over and over, excuse me, not only do you tend to remember it, but it gets implanted into your subconscious mind. So what that did was it pre-programmed me. It let me know that there were going to be situations where I would not be allowed to be myself. Because that's all it was at the end of the day. When we're younger, we're more closely connected to our true self, our child self, which is in turn our true self. And so that taught me how to act. It taught me how to become the person, become the character that fit into the storyline of the particular situation. It was my training, my entire life. I have been training to be an actor because my personality is a little bit misunderstood. It's colorful. It can be, at times it can be aggressive and extremely masculine. And then other times it can be more eccentric and what some would call spicy. And not necessarily maybe homosexual type of thing, but this flamboyant factor that is often misunderstood for a lot of males. It's actually your creativity. It's actually the fact that you still have an imagination. It's actually the fact that you may act out on how you feel rather than how people present you or how people may perceive you or how people may perceive to think that you should act. Again, the word act. There's that word, act, because that's what we're all just doing at the end of the day.
Give me 1 second. I don't know what happened.
Maybe homosexual type of thing, but this flamboyant factor that is often misunderstood for a lot of males. It's actually your creativity. It's actually the fact that you still have an imagination. It's actually the fact that you may act out on how you feel rather than how people present you or how people may perceive you or how people may perceive to think that you should act. Again, the word act. There's that word, act, because that's what we're all just doing at the end of the day. We're all just characters in a movie. We're all just characters in a mental movie, and different characters bring out different characters. So life essentially is a training ground for actors. For example, you have people that go the majority of their lives hiding from themselves and from everyone else. Now, an intelligent person might think to themselves, logically, why would anyone do that? Why would anyone pretend to be or deny the fact that they're a person or a specific personality type of person? Well, that's because society does not accept everyone. Kids are fucking cruel, and they will just fucking destroy you. If you're different, they're going to harp on that shit. They're going to figure out what's different, and then they're going to fucking harp on it. They're going to harp on it. They're going to drill it into the ground. Oh, such and such is such and such is so freaking weird. He's always looking up at the sky. Like, what is he looking at? What is he doing? Why does he do that? And look at his hair. Look at his shoes. He's not even cool. He's not even cool because he's not acting the way I think he should act in order to be deemed one of the cool kids. Because he's not talking the way I think he should be talking in order for me to deem him as one of the cool kids. Oh, he doesn't play any sports, so he's not strong. He's not a fucking, like, I don't know, what, a guy? Get the fuck out of here. Why does he wear all those weird hats? with all those bright colors. Like, is he like gay or something? What's wrong with that kid? He's so fucking weird, bro. Yeah. All my life. I remember when I was in high school, specifically. Excuse me. When I was in high school, there was, my entire life I've had a appreciation for hats. I like different hats. I like the way different hats present a different character personality. Different hats present a different character personality. The way you dress presents a specific character personality. If I've got a pro model on with a jersey and sweatpants and tennis shoes, that's a personality. What can you pull from that? Obviously, if I got a pro model on, I like sports of some kind. Pro models are sports, usually the good ones anyway. So if I've got that on, that's a character personality. Sweatpants, jogging shoes. That means that I have to be physically minded in some type of manner, that's the perception. That's how you perceived. That's why characters have different costumes. So what I would do is I'll give a good example. When I learned how to tie a tie, I became obsessed. I became obsessed. And I liked hats simultaneously. I distinctively remember going to school with a pink tie on my head with the pyramid of the tie, the triangle of the tie, that part cocked to the side. But over my head, like a freaking headband, like I was like a corporate executive, fucking, I don't know, karate master or some shit. But that was me, right? That was a piece of me, a glimpse of the true self, a glimpse of my childlike self that sporadically artistic type of, it's like an artistic display, It's like an artistic display. I try to give people a head start on how to approach me by presenting myself a specific kind of way so that they'll be able to meet me halfway and pull some of the characteristics from my actual personality. I'll give you another example. When I was going through my wild days and, I was aware that as a drug dealer, you shouldn't appear to look like a drug dealer. So if I want people to perceive me as one of these different characters in the game so that I can move around undetected, then present yourself in a different light. So that's what I did. I had a couple of different phases. I had a phase where I would actually go to job interviews in the morning. I'm a morning person. I like to be up when the birds wake up. I love animals. I love nature. So I would dress in a suit and tie, button up shirt, slacks, and some casual shoes. My friends used to poke fun at me all of the time. You know, what funeral you going to? When you got a job interview? And I think that I don't know which one came first. I don't know if it was. I got the idea one day I was actually going to a job interview, and when I got off the job interview, I just went right head first into my hustle mode because I had people calling me while I was on my job interview. So instead of going home to change clothes, I just went and walked the streets and sold dope. But everything happens for a reason. And in turn, doing that, I started to notice the difference in the way that people would treat me and the way that people perceived me to be. I don't know if you heard the term reality is all in your perception. Well, some have heard it, some have not. It's more of a philosophical term. But reality is mostly perception. For example, if I am in good shape, if I'm in good shape and I am, I move at a, kind of a higher type of tempo, type of pace, and I'm aggressive and I speak loud and I talk with my hands and, I punch my hands, make punching motions. I might even, shadow box. If I do all of these things, and if I, I'm a quick-tempered person and I'm aggressive and all of these things, I could present the perception that I'm a fighter. I could present the perception that I am a quote-unquote tough guy. That in turn shapes other people's reality because they look at that and they say, that is probably a tough guy. And I do not think that I wish to engage that particular individual in a confrontation. Now, of course, we know just from life experience, we know now that we get older that another philosophical quote is, the loudest guy in the room is probably not the toughest. He's probably not the toughest. The tough guy, if the rest of society is fortunate enough, the tough guy, the really, really tough guy, the natural tough guy, the natural fighter, the guy who accidentally beats people up because he's just trying to defend himself, the guy who really just wants to be friends with the whole entire world, that guy usually is not probably going to be aggressive. Not only that, if you know what you're capable of, if you know that you can whoop on 90% of the people that you associate yourself with, then there is no motive, there's no reason for you to be constantly trying to prove yourself. That's what these fake tough guys do. But that's what we all do. Essentially, we are all fake tough guys because no one is going to present themselves in their rawest form, say for fear of being judged. No one wants to be judged. At the end of the day, I don't care what anyone says. No one wants to be judged, especially not torn to shreds, especially not every little detail about their characteristics shunned. You got to have some element in there that the rest of society is okay with. Because if not, they're just going to call you a weirdo. If not, they're just going to say that this guy, he's touched. He's a little different. He's not as smart as the rest of us because he has not learned to go into character and hide himself from people who are going to judge him, and hide herself from people who are going to judge her. And this is why we go through these stages of self-realization, which is essentially our evolution on our journey of finding our true selves. Because that's what it is. It's a journey. It is a never-ending educational process, a spiritually educational process, a consciously educational process, an emotionally educational process, a physically educational process. And slowly, as time goes on, we learn, or let me rephrase that, we remember. I repeat, we remember who we actually are. We remember who we actually are. We remember how we actually feel. We remember that we actually love to take pictures. We remember that we actually love to dance in the rain and skip down the street like a fucking kid. We stopped because at some point, somebody pointed their little rinky-dinky finger and said, look at him, or look at her. They're like dancing in the rain. He's skipping. He looks like a little girl. Look at him skip. He looks such like a little girl. Unaware that skipping is actually a very, very physical thing. It exercises your legs. Everybody's not able to do it. And everybody's not able to do it well. And I just so happen to do it well. I'm 45 years old, and I've just realized, that's that self-realization, I have just realized and remembered, I reiterate, remembered what I have forgotten, what I have suppressed after all these years, because I was afraid to show my true self because everyone was pointing their finger, snickering, making comments, and asking me questions like, what's wrong with you? Well, who the fuck said something had to be wrong with me? What's wrong with you? Why are you acting like that? See, we need to change our perception. We need to relinquish our perception, release our perception, and allow people to be who they are. We need to allow people to be who they are without the danger of being ridiculed, without the danger of being isolated, without the danger of being gang stalked. Pushed into a corner by themselves, left to deal with only themselves, which is the exact person that's running from the rest of the world. So when you see people who are loners, when you see these people who spend the majority of the time by themselves, they're either one of two things. Either they're hiding from everyone because they're afraid of how people are going to judge them, or they have already realized that people are going to negatively judge the true self, their true self, or the person who they really are. And therefore, they isolate themselves away from the viewer's eye who can cast judgment or put their shit on you, tell you how they think you should act. I had a friend. I never could understand it. He used to tell me this dumbest shit, like, why do you like white girls? Why you with that white girl? Why don't you go get yourself an African American girl like me? Like, why don't you stop being yourself and be more like me so that I don't feel uncomfortable, so that I don't feel the urge to ridicule you, which is me that's just people trying to put their shit on you because, they're actually afraid on some level too. They're afraid to see you for who you truly are because they still care about what other people think, and therefore they do not wish to be seen with you because they know how shitty people are, and they know that if they are seen with a person who is not seen in the same type of light that people think that they should be seen, they would also be ridiculed for relating to that type of person. It's just like that saying they say, birds of a feather flock together. And people have our entire lives, there's these little sayings that growing up, we might just dismiss them and just take them for at face value. Like it sounds nice, things like treat people like you want to be treated. It's like a secret to life. It's a protection of bad karma. Treat people like you want to be treated. We hear all of these things. Practice makes perfect. This is like true knowledge. This is like life altering things, right? That we have just made these little things that we say, without thinking it all the way through. Be yourself, no matter what. And so we say all these things, but really, we're not. Most people aren't even, number one, they're not even thinking about it. They're not even thinking it through all the way. And the way we present them, and it could be done on purpose, it could have been done on accident. But the way that we present them, it causes us not to take them serious. It's just now, I'm just now starting to remember this is undeniable, life-changing stuff, man. Treat people like you want to be treated. You are what you eat. And this is a big one. I just changed my diet recently because I legit started taking this literal. Started taking it literal, right? So if I am eating cows, then I think about the characteristics of a cow. I don't want to be no cow. They're lazy. They move slow. They're not very strong. They don't look like, they never look like they're having fun. They just kind of moping around. They remind me of a depressed person. You are what you eat. Chickens. It's another one. Now, chickens, they're little more active, They're running around, jumping. They can't fly. Who the fuck wants to be a bird that can't fly? They can't fly. Why would I want to be a chicken, a bird that can't fly, that eats like trash? And what? Why? And they're not very smart. They kind of just go around in circles aimlessly. You ever sat back and watched it and paid attention to a bird? Not very smart creatures. And I'm not speaking down on birds. I'm not speaking down on chickens. I'm not speaking down on cows. I'm making observations, factual observations of characteristics of animals, because at the end of the day, you are what you eat. So why would I want to be a chicken or a cow? Cows are lazy. Chickens are like stupid. They're like going in circles. I don't want to just be going in circles, fighting. You see the way they fight? They're so aggressive. They don't, I'm backed into a corner. There's too many chickens over here. Get away from me. It's like, what the I don't want to be that. I don't want to do that. Lambs, sheep. Sheep are used to describe people who conform. People who conform. So why would I want to take on the characteristics of a sheep? I'm so far from it. I was born on the 4th of July. I'm a natural rebel. And some people believe in those things and some people don't. Your belief to you, your belief, yours, and to me, mine, But I'm all these things. Right? And so I got to a point in my life where I refused to hide any longer. I'm going to tell you why. It's not because, at the end of the day, it's not because I'm a rebel. It's because it's harder to pretend that you're somebody else. If I'm going around and I have to think about, don't do this because then you're going to look like that, or don't do that because then you're going to look like this, that's just difficult, man. Fuck all that. I'm just going and I'm just going to be.
I'm going to pause it for a small break. I'll be right back. All right, we back.
Just gonna be myself, and I'm gonna dance in the rain, and I'm gonna skip down the fucking street, and I'm gonna stop and take pictures, and I'm gonna stop and pray for animals. That puts importance on.
I can't remember where we stopped.
I'm so far from it. I was born on the 4th of July. I'm a natural rebel. And some people believe in those things and some people don't. Your belief to you, your belief, yours, and to me, mine,
We just don't run it from here.
I'm all these things. Right? And so I got to a point in my life where I refused to hide any longer. I'm going to tell you why. It's not because, at the end of the day, it's not because I'm a rebel. It's because it's harder to pretend that you're somebody else. If I'm going around and I have to think about, don't do this because then you're going to look like that, or don't do that because then you're going to look like this, that's just difficult, man. Fuck all that. I'm just going and I'm just going to be myself, and I'm going to dance in the rain, and I'm going to skip down the fucking street, and I'm going to stop and take pictures, and I'm going to stop and pray for animals, and I'm going to talk to the animals because I don't care how I am perceived. That's not freedom. That's slavery. That's mental slavery. That's emotional slavery. That is slavery.
And so I decided to take control of my life. So now I am going to decide when I choose to apply these characters. And I'm going to get paid for doing it because the world has forced me to become an excellent actor. The world, the same world that shunned me, they have groomed me to make hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars out of their own fear, which is nothing more than false evidence appearing real. What does that mean? That means that it doesn't matter what nobody think about you. It's not going to change the way you live. It's not going to fix your health. It's not going to get you that new car. It's not going to help you buy that big house. The way that people feel about you, the way that people talk about you is not going to help you achieve any of your goals. And it doesn't have to be true, even. How fair is that? They get to just determine who in the fuck you are. They just get to make that judgment. Who, how, why? They're not God. But they claim to be godly. They're not God. And how could you be godly? Because to be godly is to take on his characteristics. So if you were godly, would you be talking shit about somebody? Would you be passing judgment on somebody? God doesn't do that. God doesn't do that. So how could you be godly? Why? Because you go to church? Because you recite something that someone else wrote, someone else's thoughts, someone else's feelings, someone else's point of view, someone else's perception. Because you regurgitate that shit, you're godly. Believe what you meant. I'm not here to come down on people. I'm not here to tell one person they're right or one person they're wrong. I don't personally believe in that. I think that we are all in different stages of our lives because life is all about a series of stages of education, different stages of realization, different stages of understanding. And if you learn how to pay attention to your surroundings and the language of the universe and the language of your heart and the language of your spirit, we all have a voice inside of our heads. We all have a voice inside of our heads that's constantly having a conversation with ourselves while we're going throughout our day having conversations with other people. The only difference is most of us have a different person that they're presenting to the rest of the world. I've often been told, you must just say what you think. You must just say the first shit that come to your head. Yeah, I mean, I thought everybody did that. I'm sorry. Yeah, I do say exactly what's on my mind. But you're telling, so now you're telling me this is a part of my characteristic that I must hide because you disagree with it? You disagree with my approach because it's different than how you perceive I should be? Man, this is a lot going on. This is a lot this is a lot of things that people go through in order to try to make comfortable people
who don't really care about them, who are not going to assist them in their journey, who are not going to assist them with their self-realization, who are not going to assist them reach their full potential because they won't even allow them to be themselves. How can you reach your full potential if people will not allow you to be who you are? You always do that. Why do you do that? Why do you do that? Well, what? I can't be myself? That's crazy. I refuse to live in a world where I cannot be myself. If you want to call me crazy, I'm fine with that because your opinion doesn't matter anyway. And no one's opinion has ever benefited anyone. Even if you think I'm a tough guy, what if you think I'm a tough guy and I'm not really a tough guy, and now you are subconsciously putting me in these situations to where I have to play this character? No. I've come to a point in my life where I have taken control, and I and me alone will decide when I want to put on a specific character in order to perceive myself in a certain type of way to save people from being butthurt, to save people from casting judgment and casting spells on me, telling me the way they think I should be, telling me the way they think I should act, telling me the way they think I should talk. Get out of here. Get out of here. That's not godly. Do you think God would hide his true self from you? Why? Who are you? You don't matter. As far as me reaching my goals, you don't matter. As far as me being able to provide for my family, your opinion isn't going to change anything about my life. So why in the fuck should I care about how you perceive me? That's crazy. That's crazy. And they call me crazy. So that's what people do. They project their shit onto you. They're telling you you're crazy for not caring about how people think. But that is crazy. Why should I care? When it logically, since you smart people are so fucking smart, you're so freaking smart, since you're so smart, you should know that. Because it doesn't matter what you care. Your opinion does not build buildings. Your opinion does not purchase vehicles. Your opinion won't help me get a girlfriend. Your opinion won't teach me anything. Your opinion will not benefit me at all. So why should I repeat, why should I design my life and conduct my life in a way that puts importance on that when it means nothing? It does nothing. It changes nothing. The only thing it does is put me in a cage, because now I got to walk on eggshells while I'm around you, because you don't like the fact that I talk too much. You don't like the fact that I dance sporadically because I got fucking music playing in my head. And so I have to hide myself from you. It's too much work. It's too much work. It's too much work for me to pretend to be somebody I'm not. It's too much work for me to act like I feel a certain kind of way when I don't, only because you don't want me to feel like that. That is insane. That is insane. And people are insane, but they point the finger at you and call you crazy because you're skipping down the street and dancing in the rain and singing out loud, even though you can't hold a note to save your life. So what? Let me have my fun. Let me be myself. So what? So I'm singing. So what? I talk too much. So what? So what? Where can I go to be myself? Where can I go to be comfortable in my own skin if everywhere I go, people are telling me what they don't like about me? People are demonstrating the fact that they don't like something about me. Why would I go around those people? I'm going to be trapped mentally. I'm going to be trapped emotionally. I'm going to be trapped spiritually. Because now I have to hide. And not only do I have to hide, I have to figure out which freaking character I want to play today. So to that I say, thank you. Thank you to the world. Thank you to the world for grooming me to be a movie star. Thank you to the world for grooming me to be a model. Because no one wants to, it's been so many, a lot of time people talk shit about the way I dress because I got my own unique particular style. Okay. And it doesn't fit with the way that they think I should look. That is just, do you realize how demented that approach is? Do you realize how stuck in your ego you must have to be to think that I would want to stop being who I truthfully am in order to appeal and appease your opinion, which means absolutely nothing, which does absolutely nothing, which helps me in absolutely no shape, form, or fashion. Why would I dress the way you want me to dress? Why? Because you don't want to don't look at me. Don't look at me. Don't look at me. But I'm going to be comfortable in my own skin. If I want to wear a freaking tie on my head and cock it to the side, that's what I'm going to do. If I want to put a tie on my arm, that's what I'm going to do. Why? 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 What do you mean why? Why not? Why not? If that's who I am, then why not? Leave me alone. Leave people alone. Stop ruining people's fun. Stop pissing on people's parade. If they're dancing to the beat of their own drum, then freaking let them dance. If they got music playing in their head, then let them sing. Let them sing. Go somewhere else. Put on some headphones. Do something else. But don't try to control people because you're uncomfortable about who they truly are. It's crazy. It's crazy. Oh, you're not supposed to act this way. Oh, you're not supposed to do this. Oh, you're not supposed to do that. Oh, don't be immature. Why not? If I'm immature, then why should I not be immature? Who are you? You're not God. Not God. I love you all, but do better.
Yeah, so that was the end of it, y'all. That was very intense. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed making it. Ashe. Namaste.